what a complete and utter fucking disaster. You know, I wish that I could come in here live from the post game, live from Service Talk Digital Media. You have a good time. I have a good time. You know, we get new partners in here. We're going to do the post game from here. But yet you go to Florida and get your ass whipped. Meanwhile, while you have the football, literally for 2/3 of the game, and you can't do shit because every time you get down to the red zone, every single time you get down to the red zone, you completely piss down your leg. Completely piss down your leg. Blake Nussmeier doesn't have a running game. He can't run the football. Meanwhile, the running backs, Josh Williams and Caden Durham, one has 69, the other has 91. The only reason that you have 120 rushing yards on the game is because Nussmeier got sacked 7 fucking times. You cannot convince me. You cannot convince me that you don't have somebody better at guard than what you have right now. You can't convince me of that. You cannot convince me. You were getting beat at left guard all game long, and you couldn't stop them. Why? I just don't understand why you cannot see that somebody is getting beat over and over and over again, and you not want to change something up. Why? Oh, we got lots that we got to talk about. Nevertheless, we are here from Service Talk Digital Media here in Hammond, Louisiana, live in the studio. I need you to do me a couple favors. Right now, I need you to hit the like button, hit the share button. Share to all those groups. If you're on Facebook, share to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe. If you are on if you're on YouTube and you want to get your comments read, you know what the post game and what we do every single post game. Send in the super chats. We'll get into all of those super chats and comments here tonight after we break down the game. We'll get to all your thoughts, questions, concerns. So send in the super chats if you want your comment read. We'll take in live phone calls in just a moment. Every post-game show is brought to you by our good friends over at betonline.ag. That's betonline.ag, where the action starts. You can use that promo code BELIEVE50 at checkout to receive a 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, where the game starts. And our good friends over at The Athletic Collection, shop/tac.com. That's shop-tac.com. You can use that promo code AYS25 at checkout to receive a 15% off welcome bonus. Let's go through this game, or not welcome bonus, 15% off your order if you use that bonus. Let's go to the game here. Guys, I feel like during the week, you come at me and say, Blake, stop talking about turnovers. And I mention it every single week. Guys, they don't stop. You start off the game with a turnover on downs. It just can't happen. 4th and 1, you get tackled at the line of scrimmage. It just cannot happen. Legitimately cannot happen. Garrett Nussmeier completes a pass to Xavion Thomas, a pop pass for -3 yards. And we talked about this during the A&M game. Why in the Sam hell do you have, legitimately, why do you have Trey'Dez Green as your lead blocker on 4th down? Why? You knew he couldn't do it from Texas A&M. You allowed him to do it again. But you get your first turnover on downs. Wouldn't hurt you really, because LSU defensively held Florida to a 3-and-out. They got -7 yards. But you cannot do anything offensively in the first half of the game, literally the entire first quarter, offensively, you would take one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back. And every single time that you got close to the red zone, you pulled out your wiener and absolutely pissed down your leg. No pause. Like, what the fuck are we doing? So a turnover on downs, you force a punt. Garrett Nussmeier in the second drive throws a pass not above or in front of the line of scrimmage. So you got a punt on your second drive. He had Aaron Anderson wide open. I tweeted this during the game. Brother, Aaron Anderson's wide open. You went to Aaron early. Like, he's getting you yards. He's getting you tough yardage. Keep going to number one. You did in the first half later when you went and got the post to him. But second possession, you got a punt. Florida responds. So DJ Lagway, I thought, in this game, guys, showed why he was not only arguably the number one quarterback coming out of high school, but why he's going to be a superstar. Guys, the 23-yard post route from to Elijah Badger from DJ Lagway was beautiful. Was absolutely beautiful. Your secondary, who, by the way, you went and got, again, the secondary's coach or the DB's coach from Florida a year ago, who Florida was in the mid-90s in passing yards allowed. Blake, he's a legend. He's recruiting really well, meaning Corey Raymond. Well, here's the truth. A true freshman and a group of guys that will be working at Winn-Dixie in a couple of years just literally busted you up all game long. But DJ Lagway to Elijah Badger, we're letting a dude with the last name Badger just absolutely kill our ass. But he goes for a post and for a touchdown. You respond with an absolutely beautiful play, or a beautiful drive. You go 14 plays, 84 yards, 5 minutes and 51 seconds to tie the game. Guess how many times you ran the football in those 14 plays? 9 times. Caden Durham, Josh Williams. And then to end the drive, Garrett Nussmeier hits Aaron Anderson on a post for a touchdown to get the score back to 7-all. So you kept running the football. They had their safeties in coverage. They scooted their safeties up. You take a shot with Aaron Anderson, and it's a touchdown. Meanwhile, let's stop right here. It's not missed upon me that Brian Kelly vehemently had a play sheet and play call sheet in his hands the entire game. So if he wants to say that he had no involvement or whatever he wants to say about this team offensively is horseshit. So whatever he's going to say in his postgame, absolute horseshit. Absolute dog shit. Wouldn't stop there, but you do get a really good drive. Aaron Anderson, by the way, Aaron Anderson was targeted 3 times after that. So Aaron Anderson has 5 catches in the first half. He was only targeted 3 more times after that. Florida would respond with a field goal drive to make it 10-7. LSU, 12 plays, 47 yards. They have to answer with a field goal because you continue to shoot yourselves in the foot. LSU is driving down with 42 seconds left to go in the first half. I'm like, man, maybe we can get 7 here. We're driving right down. Kyron Lacey had a catch for 13 yards. Mason Taylor had a catch for 6 yards on third down. 3rd and 5, he gets a big catch for a first down. So 1st and 10, you have an incompletion, and this is where the wheels started to completely fall off. Garrett Nussmeier gets sacked for the first time in the game by Shamar James for a loss of 8. Then an incomplete pass that Shamar James, who was all over our ass all night long, broke up a pass. So not only did the linebacker have a sack, he turns right around and gets a PBU. A 250-pound linebacker gets a PBU on you. You'd have to settle for a 50-yard field goal, and you go into half tied at 10. You come out beautifully defensively in the second half. You force basically a 3-and-out. The first play, they get a 19-yard gain. But the next 3 plays, they can only generate 1 yard, so Florida has to punt. LSU, this is what got you beat. You ready? This right here got you beat. Yet another drive when you got down to the red zone and you pissed down your leg. 15 plays, 62 yards, 7 minutes, and 44 seconds of time of possession. And I'm about to come back to that in just a moment. But Garrett Nussmeier, after Josh Williams broke off a 22-yard run, and before that, Caden Durham broke off a 14-yard run. And before that, Caden Durham broke off a 7-yard run. And before that, Josh Williams with a 16-yard carry. You get to 3rd and 9 in the red zone, and you call a mesh route that Kyron Lacey runs into a DB. CJ Daniels, slant route, 13 yards into the end zone for a touchdown that gets called back. Guys, the Lee from Service Hawk, when that happened, I looked to him and said, man, if we keep getting field goals, we're losing the football game. Because every single time that you got down to the red zone, you could not convert into 7 points. You kept having to settle for field goals. The touchdown that you had in the game comes outside of the red zone, and Aaron Anderson goes for a 28-yard post route and a touchdown. You continue to pee down your leg. Now, for all of you that watch our shows religiously, by the way, give us a thumbs up in the chat if you do. Thumbs up in the chat if you watch the show religiously. During the spring, the number one issue that we had offensively coming out of the spring was that this defense absolutely owned your ass in the red zone. They owned you. If you watched any fall camp practice report, the number one thing that we talked about was, you know what, man? I mean, defense had a good day. They did some red zone work, and Garrett Nussmeier got flustered. They kept having to settle for field goals. What you were doing in August is now translating into mid-November, and nothing has changed and nothing has been fixed. Literally nothing. But you going down into the red zone after running Florida's front 7 completely over all game, you take out your wiener and you piss down your leg. Again, no pause. An outright joke. Guys, it's a joke. So you can't put all of this on Joe Sloan anymore, because now your head coach is also on the sidelines with the play sheet. But guys, as soon as you kick that field goal right there, and you made it 13-10, and you took the lead, that's where everything fell down from there. Because you would only get 3 more points offensively. Your identity offensively completely changed. That what kept getting you down to the red zone. Both times and back-to-back drives that we just discussed that you got down to the red zone, you were handing the ball off right behind Emory Jones and dominating the line of scrimmage. Handing the ball off right behind Miles Frazier, dominating the line of scrimmage. Dominating the line of scrimmage. Then you started throwing the ball all over the place, and you kept pissing down your leg. I'm going to keep saying that. Because the drives after that, 15 plays, you get a field goal. 12 plays, you get a turnover on downs. So that's 2 turnover on downs. We're not even talking about the fumble yet. So you already have 2 turnovers, and you haven't even gotten to the fumble. And why in God's name Emory Jones picked the ball up and ran with it is beyond me. But Florida outcoached you in the red zone. They outplayed you in the red zone, and they did everything that they needed to do to stay around. Thursday, literally 2 days ago, on our keys to victory, that if you, our number one thing is, if you continue to have turnovers, you're going to allow a team that is not better than you to stick around and beat you. And that's what happened. So it doesn't matter that when I look at the team stats and I look at time of possession, guys, you had the ball for 41 minutes and 48 seconds, and you only got 16 points. Let me repeat that. You had the ball for 41 minutes and 48 seconds to Florida's 18 minutes of time of possession, and it absolutely didn't matter, and they still beat your ass. Want to know why? Because you couldn't convert in the second half in the red zone. You know, everybody in the media this week, I saw national LSU alumni tweeting this out. I saw people in our own media corps tweeting this out. Well, Blake, we still technically have a shot to go to the playoff. And all week, what do we say? LSU's got to control what they can control. How about we do this? How about offensively, the last 6 quarters, we've been ass cheeks. Now, guys, the last 10 quarters, even though you've been doing some good things offensively, when it matters most, you can't do shit because the bright lights in the moment is too big for you. It's too big for you. You can't overcome it. And when the game's on the line, literally, when the game is on the line and you need to get a score, Garrett Nussmeier fumbles the football. Emory Jones picks it up, fumbles. Florida gets the ball right back. And you know what? God bless Blake Baker, because, guys, you got a fumble. They generated -8 yards for Florida on the drive that got them out of field goal range, and they had to punt the ball. They had to punt a football. But it didn't matter because Josh Williams would get a run for 2, and then Garrett Nussmeier would get sacked and would fumble the football for where you had to punt, or fumble the football and where you had to punt. They respond by getting a touchdown. You respond by getting back in the red zone in the fourth quarter, your 4th straight trip in the red zone where you had to line up for a field goal. You made the field goal. You got the game to 20-16, but Florida runs a toss play that you did not stop all day. The more physical team in this game won the game. Guys, that's it. Not converting in the red zone. Because let's look at these play drives. Guys, you had a drive for 15 plays. You had a drive for 2 drives of 15 plays. So 30 plays, guys, in the second half. So you had a field goal, a fumble, a field goal. On both of the field goal drives, you had 15 plays that only generated 6 points. You got 6 points in the second half. Teams are going in the locker room and they're scheming things up against you and making adjustments, and you have no idea what to do. Zero clue on what to do. Offensively, you're broken. You're broken. You have a massive issue at left guard. Your quarterback doesn't know what right decisions to make. You're broken. It's a joke. It's a flat-out joke that you can't overcome. You religiously that you cannot overcome. Bro, I gotta be real with you. Brian Kelly is going to have to start answering some tough questions. Some very, very tough questions about where this team is headed. Think about this. LSU won the fourth quarter, by the way, of time of possession, 11 minutes and 49 seconds. Let's round up and say it's 12. Florida had the ball for 3 minutes in the fourth quarter and outscored you 14-3. Let me repeat that. LSU had the ball in the fourth quarter for 12 minutes. Florida had it 3. You got in the red zone twice and got 3 points. They got in the red zone no times and got 14 points. That's the game. That's the game. So we can come out here and say it's players. We can come out here and say whatever we want. But not being able to convert in the red zone is also on coaching. Because the players are getting you down in the red zone, and the reason why guys make that, or coaches make that much money, whether it be on the offensive side, head coach, defensive coach, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This is unacceptable. Brian Kelly's getting paid $10 million for you to be 6-4. It's unacceptable, man. Massively unacceptable. I don't know where you go from here, if I'm being honest. I have no clue. You better pray to God that you're able to hold on to your recruiting class. And I hate to say this, but if it came down to it, you got to find somebody else that can call plays offensively. Blake, what about Bryce Underwood? Guys, if you can't call plays and you can't do good things offensively, if you can't figure out things in the red zone, it doesn't fucking matter. Quite simply, doesn't fucking matter. But you should be more pissed off at this game than anything that happened last week. All right. Let's get to some super chats here. And I'm sorry, I know Lee and Justin probably don't care about how many F-bombs I'm throwing around in here. But just in case they do, I apologize to them. I told them. Very fair warning here. Cajun Bingle with a $5 super chat says, Blake, this is hard to watch. That performance was pure hole. Yeah, bro, it sucked. It fucking sucked. I mean, let's call it what it is. It fucking sucked. There's nothing else to say about it. It fucking sucked. Bro, 337 with a $5 super chat. He says, LSU can pay me a couple $100,000 to design plays to keep Nuss in the pocket and take 7 sacks. I can do that. Yeah, you can do that. But see, here's the thing, man. Some of this is on Garrett, and I got to be real with you. Look, man, Garrett's got to dig down deep in his soul because he cannot be hurt after every sack. I'm sorry. Every time he gets touched, he comes up limping. He does. I'm not saying he's not tough. I'm not saying that. But like he was, you know, like he did not need to. He did not need to come out of the game in that last sack. I mean, he's like, oh, I'm kind of beat up here, trying to get sentiment or whatever. But guys, you don't have your quarterback play is below average right now. Blake, he's got 21 touchdowns. Guys, again, as I mentioned, let's look at it. You have a dude legitimately in Max Johnson, who a lot of you hated and clowned on, who was more efficient at LSU than Garrett Nussmeier. He was more efficient. At least Max wasn't going to sit back in the pocket and take all that shit. At least you knew he was going to lay everything out on the line. But, guys, the turnovers are abysmal. You had another 3 turnovers today. You had 2 turnover on downs. I mean, you can't really say a missed field goal is a turnover. A missed field goal and a fumble and a fumble. One of the fumbles you got back and you punted. Guys, it's a fucking train wreck. You can't convince me. Blake, Garrett Dellinger's down. You can't convince me that you don't have a better scenario or situation at left guard than what the fuck you had right now. Miles Frazier went out earlier in the game. Tyree Adams came in, and guys, you were running right behind Tyree Adams, snapping necks and cashing checks like it's the fucking Catalina wine mixer. Why aren't you putting Tyree Adams at left guard? Head's got to roll for that, bro. I'm sorry. I'm not going to defend that. Head's got to roll for that shit. Why did you get guys, in the second half, we completely got away from running the football. I mean, let's look at the stats here. I mean, let's just do some quick fucking math. Garrett Nussmeier threw the ball. Guys, you ran the ball 44 times, and Garrett still threw it 47. That's fucking insane. Let's look at both of the backs. 91 from Durham, 69 from Williams. So you had both of your running backs combined had 160 yards on 33 carries. So right at 5 yards a carry. What a joke. What a joke. And look, a lot of you are going to blame the defense, and that's fine. The defense can only do so much. They don't have the personnel, bro. They don't. Sorry, they don't have the fucking personnel. Let's get to a couple more Super Chats. You can send in Super Chats here. We'll get to them and read your comments live right here on the show. Michael Moore says we went from 6-1 to 6-4 in a blink of an eye. Absolutely unacceptable. 1,000% it's unacceptable, Michael. I don't want to hear shit from Brian Kelly this week. I mean, like, I really don't. I really don't. That shit's fucking pitiful. It's fucking pitiful. But yeah, you went from potential playoff to going to A&M, going to bye week, getting beat by Alabama, and then getting beat by Florida. Joke. And they don't know how to fix it because when the moment is brightest, you know, like they fumble. And, you know, I got to see these things on social media like Will Campbell said, I'm going to put you in a seatbelt, bitch. No, you got your ass whooped. No, the last sack, Will Campbell got his ass whooped. He didn't finish the play. He didn't finish the play and he got his ass whooped. Let's call it what it is. What a joke. All right. Hell Mendoza says, honest to God, do we even win our next two games? I have no idea. I have no idea. You can lose to Vandy. And what is the mental aspect of this team going to be? You know, and here's another thing. Because of the game, we haven't even brought this up. We're 30 minutes into the show, and we haven't even brought this up. What the fuck did Sage Ryan and Braden Swinson do? I mean, what did they do to get penalized and being out of the first half? To get in a fight? I mean, what did they do? But no, I mean, guys, there's a very strong chance that you can get beat by Vandy. Very strong chance. You know what's interesting too? Guys, think about this. You had held Florida rushing. Hold on, let me look at this. Let me make sure my math is correct. Think about this. You had held Florida to 58 rushing yards through three quarters. They had 58 rushing yards on you until the last play that they ran. Isn't that insane? All right, let's get to a couple more super chats here. Yes, you can fire him in here. Ronald Hayes with a $5 super chat says, leave BK Nuss and the offensive coordinator. This is just trash. I mean, it's not good, Ronald. I mean, you're right. I don't know what else to say. I have no earthly idea what else you can say. No clue. Because you're 1,000% correct. It's complete trash. Mark Spell says, Kelly is what he is, below average. Starting to look that way, man. Starting to look that way. I mean, this is on him, man. I mean, you get lazy and your administration gets lazy, and who they hire as offensive coordinator, you go and make a really good hire in Blake Baker. But see, here's another thing, too, that I want to emphasize on. Remember when, you can't say that the personnel is bad and get mad at the personnel when you're refusing to go out there and spend money to get better personnel. And then you do an interview with Jacques Doucette on WAFB and say, we're just not going to spend $1 million on a player. Well, we're spending $10 million for you for this performance. So all of the shit that we continue to hear on a weekly basis, it was a fucking excuse. It was an excuse. Gosh, you're going to have to overspend money now because you're 6-4. You better hope that you win these next 2 games. So, I mean, it's so wild to me that we have a coach making $10 million a year, and we as a fan base allowed him to run out here and say, we're not spending $1 million on a player. Meanwhile, you make $9 million more dollars a year than that. You should be pissed off. I'm fucking pissed off. Rodney Scott says LSU played like shit. Yeah, they did. Thank you for the super chat. Saren and Karen with a $2 super chat says, did BK lose the locker room at Kyle Field? I thought that you played hard, if I'm being honest. You just don't play smart. Offensively, every time that you are getting momentum, every single time you find a way to shoot yourself in the foot. You can't finish. Guys, their butthole gets so tight you couldn't fit a Grease BB in it. I don't think that they didn't fight. I think that they just don't know how to win. They don't know how to win. And you know what's even worse? Remember how people in this media corps were talking so much shit about Bama burning? Now you're going to have to wear it as a fan base because you don't check your fucking emotions at the door. Alex Cormier with a $2 super chat says, soft-ass team, no desire to win. Hell no, there's no desire to win. They don't know. Alex, I agree with you that I don't want to say there's no desire to win. I think they want to win. They don't know how to win. They don't know how to win. And for everybody that's out there sticking up for Garrett, guys, he's not good right now. He simply is not good right now. Both of his running backs combined to get him 5 yards a carry and 160 yards. He's not making right decisions. He doesn't know what he's seeing in coverage. He literally doesn't. You can get mad at me and saying that all you want. He does not know what he's seeing in coverage. Guys, he threw a flat route against cover 2 with confidence. And it almost got picked. C.J. Daniels on a slant late in the game. If C.J. Daniels isn't just a fucking dog, that ball gets picked off. So they just don't know how to win. Jeff sends a $5 super chat, says, at what point do you have to sit in us? It's brutal to watch at this point. Well, Jeff, look, at this point, I wouldn't mind you trying something else. But here's a couple of things. Number one, I still think Garrett gives you the best ability to win of the guys that are on this roster. Okay? But the guy that you have coming in, apparently or allegedly, even though Michigan's apparently offering $10.5 million to Bryce Underwood, I don't think Garrett can beat out Bryce. I don't. And you need a guy that can either do what DJ Lagway does, know the coverage, know that I got one-on-one man-to-man coverage, step up in the pocket. Don't I don't want to say be scared, but I feel like he's scared. I feel like he's scared. So in reference to benching him, I don't think that there's anybody on your roster that can do better than him. I don't. But again, when a lot of you Rudy Poos, not all of you, but there's a vocal minority. When some of you Rudy Poos come up in the chat during the shows, during the week, and you tell me, Blake, you just hate this kid because I say that Max Johnson was more efficient than him. No, you look like the idiot. Look, bro, we legitimately pissed down our leg with Lil Wayne in the house. Ian with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Ian. He says, what's the worst for LSU fans? ? Number one, is it you aren't good enough for the Cheez-It Bowl? Number two, you owe a coach who's never worth anything worth a damn for $60 million. Or number three, your quote-unquote best talent has regressed in year three. Number four, all of the above. Well, number four, it's all the above. I mean, Brian Kelly, quite honestly, guys, I mean, look, he's got to get credit for Jaden and what Jaden and that offense accomplished. He's got to get credit for winning the SEC West in year one. But you put all of your eggs in the Nussmeier and Joe Sloan basket, and it's backfired. It backfired. And every single year, you have something. The book is out on you, bro. The book is out on you. The last 10 quarters, you have not gotten over 20 points. Now, Blake, 20 points and a half is a lot. You're right, it is. But and a lot of that, in the last two games, guys, you haven't gotten over 20 points offensively. So you put a lot in the stock of you being good and developing. You haven't developed. Well, Blake, we had an injury at left guard. Who gives a flying fuck? I mean, like, teams have injuries, and they don't look as bad as you do. They simply don't. So when December gets here and kids are going in the portal, I am going to be very vocal. Go and get them. Go and get them. Go and get them. Go and get them. Because if you don't get better talent, if you don't go get better play callers, you're going to be sitting here again saying, what are we doing? It's infuriating as the fuck. Delot with a $10 super chat says the defense has given us chances to win all year. I agree. He says, I've said it before. We are paying $10 million for an average coach, but it's okay. We'll get the generic, we have to coach better battle. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Man, I don't know what to say to that, right? Like, I have no idea what to say to that. I mean, he can't say that anymore. I'm sure he's at the press conference right now and he said it, but that's just a flying joke at this point. It's a joke. Hayes Reeves say, hate to tell you that Brian Kelly isn't it. In must-win games, they do not deliver. Nuss got sacked once the offense goes downhill. Yeah, I mean, when he gets touched, he gets flustered. Hayes, excuse me, when he gets touched, he 100% gets flustered. And he lays on the ground, right? Like he acts hurt. But, I mean, Brian Kelly's got a lot that he's got to answer for, man. A lot that he's got to answer for. Like Tennessee's playing right now. I'm watching it right here in the studio. They just started. They didn't have top 5 classes, but what do? They looked at guys that they thought were good enough. They developed them. They brought in guys from the portal, and they're a one-loss football team. Well, Blake, their schedule was easier than ours. Okay, well, they beat Bama. You didn't. They had the ability to beat Bama, and you didn't. You got your ass whooped. They identified, they developed, they recruited, and they're better coached than you. Christian Wheeler with a $2 super chat says, soft, lost, and confused is all I saw tonight. I 1,000% agree. 1,000% agree with that. 1,000% agree. TJ with a $5 super chat says, this coaching staff's inability to make in-game personnel and schematic changes based on what their opponent is throwing at them is really alarming. Very alarming. And it's not like Brian Kelly wasn't involved in play calling. That's on him too. Brian Kelly on Thursday, the last comments that Brian Kelly made on Thursday before the game was, man, I'm just going to tell you, Nuss is going to have a good game. No, the fuck he didn't. No, he did not. And he probably said that because he was going to be the one involved in play calling. No, he did not. It's a joke, man. It's an outright joke. Nolan Strange with a $5 super chat says, you're telling me we could have had Lane Kiffin for 5 years for BK's buyout. That's a failure on LSU's administration. Well, then y'all better start saying what you need to say about Scott Woodward then. I mean, if I'm being real, and listen, man, think about this. If you're a South Carolina, stay with me here. If you're a South Carolina fan, how pissed off are you right now that you should be a 2-loss football team, and because of a bullshit call, let's call it what it is, guys. That call against Nussmeier was bullshit. Okay? I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I'm an LSU fan. Hell yeah, whatever. It was bullshit. There are other games that you should have lost. Guys, you should have lost Ole Miss. You're just simply not a good football team. Ricky Bernard sends a $2 super chat, says Nuss goes to check down too quick. To be honest with you, Chip, Ricky, excuse me, I'm gonna back off. I'm gonna disagree with you. I don't think he goes to it enough. At what point of getting to uh-oh. Okay. All right, I need y'all to do me a favor. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear us. Thumbs up in the chat if you can hear us. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Can you hear us? Yes or no? Okay. Lee just said stop touching the mic. All right, I'm going to put the mic right here. Back to this point. Let me look at this. How many catches did Josh Williams have? Josh Williams had 4 catches for 31 yards. Ricky, I got to disagree. You converted 2 third downs when they're bailing out because they know that you got to get the ball down deep, and you're letting playmakers make plays. At what point are we going to not allow, you keep going to Chris Hilton, and I love Chris Hilton. Chris has got to come down with that catch at the end of the game there for the touchdown, like he does. The lot says, don't be dumb, Blake. Nuss will start next year. Kelly doesn't have the balls to tell him no, and Kelly has to start washed up super seniors. He may start next year, but it's until Garrett makes a change for himself, until Garrett takes this sport seriously, he's going to continue to have the same problems. You're probably right. He probably doesn't. But here's the thing. And the lot to your point, you're probably right. But the issue that I would have there is that he's not better than him. He's not. He's just not better than him. Bro 337 says, I played NCAA on rookie mode, and I'll run the same run play 28 times till they stop it. We run 2 plays for 8 yards each and say, let's change it up. I'm confused. That's 100% the thing about the running game. And here's the thing. Bro, how many weeks did I come out here every single night, talking about let's run outside zone. Let's run outside zone. Stop running behind Paul Mabenga. Stop running behind Paul Mabenga. And you kept doing it. But you got to stay with the running game. Guys, if you take away the 40-some-odd yards that Garrett had in sacks, okay, let's take the 46 away. Guys, you're running for over 160 yards with your 2 backs. You're trying to play bully ball. You don't get Caleb Jackson involved, which I would assume at this point Caleb Jackson is going to hit the portal. I screamed all offseason for us to go in the portal and get a veteran running back. The back that we went and got was a guy that had already been here that got hurt in the beginning of the year, that being John Emery. You need an experienced back. Caden Durham is too young and not ready to take this game over, and I love Josh Williams to death. I do. Josh is a plug-and-play guy that has 15 at max 20 plays a game. But you needed a back that could sustain, and Frank whiffed. He whiffed. So it is what it is. Kip Jennings with a $5 super chat says 6 sacks in the first 9 games, 7 sacks tonight. Nuss isn't unprotected. He's awful at decision-making. Whole offense is inefficient. No, quote-unquote, what we do best. Well, they just pinned their ears back. They pinned their ears back. And the truth is, I think that your play calling is fine until you get to the red zone. But even when you have good plays called, guys, you keep shooting yourselves in the foot. And then twice in the first half, you're moving the ball and you got to call timeouts. Those are drive killers. They're drive killers because defenses get to regroup and reset. But Nuss is not a great decision maker. He's just not a great decision maker. All right. We have 3,500 of you in here right now live. Do me a favor. Hit the like and share. Share to all those groups if you're on Facebook. Share to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Do all that stuff for us. We greatly appreciate it. Ron Skipper with a $5 super chat says, A.J. Swan is at least a true dual threat. Ron, he's not a dual threat. He can't run either. He has 3 years of experience, that he does, and only took 1 snap the whole year. Vandy will destroy Nussmeier. Well, Vandy, so to your point, I agree with 2 of the 3 things. AJ's not going to be able to run for you. Maybe he, to your point, though, maybe I'm wrong. He certainly will run more than Garrett Nussmeier. But, guys, I just don't see a world where you bench Nuss. I still think that Nuss is the best opportunity and the best available quarterback that you have to win you football games. But this shit's got to stop. Like, it's got to fucking stop. Guys, you had 3 turnovers again today. But to your point, guys, you're probably not going to be able to run the ball on Vandy. And before you say, Blake, what do you mean we can't run the ball on Vandy? Y'all know that Vandy's top 25 in run defense? Coming into the week, Vandy was 25th in the country in run defense. So you can't even do that well. P. Scott, all right, let's get to these three other super chats here, and then we'll get to some phone calls. P. Scott says, I'm so confused with the play calling in the red zone. Sloan is not it. Nuss play is not saving him anymore. Run the ball on every second down. Yeah, well, not only is the play calling bad, but you keep shooting yourselves in the foot. Guys, we got beat by a coach who legitimately people want to be fired. But the simple truth is, P. Scott, yeah, I mean, yes, our red zone play calling is ass. Guys, Joe Sloan got demoted at Louisiana Tech. We talked about this when he was hired. He got demoted at Louisiana Tech from play calling. Carrie Hughes with a $2 super chat says, remember when Kiffin begged for the LSU job? Well, you better beg him now. But you're not making a move, man. Calling for Brian Kelly's head right now is outright stupid. All right, a couple more. Chenard sends a $5 super chat, says, at what point do we start looking into new OC? Now. You start looking at it now. And or an analyst to come in and help with our offense or play calling. Well, and he sends the same thing. Thank you for the $10 there. Now, I mean, Chenard, to be real with you, let's just call a spade here. I mean, that's why Brian Kelly had a play sheet. Brian Kelly comes out today and says that he had no involvement in play calling. He's lying his ass off. He's lying his ass off. He was more involved in play calling today than he's ever been in his entire LSU tenure. So it's not just on Sloan, it's on BK too. Now you got to go find somebody that can dominate offensively. And look, man, you got to bring in motherfuckers. I hate to say it like that, but you got to bring in motherfuckers. There's nobody on this team right now offensively that, well, Blake, what about Will Campbell, Emory Jones? No, not really. Guys, Will Campbell had a false start. It was 2nd and 8. He had a false start, and they pushed you back. That can't happen. By the way, you were borderline on the red zone. Emory had a false start, and then picked up a ball when it got fumbled and ran it and then fumbled it. By the way, they scored a touchdown on that drive too. Our football IQ is below average. Well below average. Broad 337 says, Joe Brady, head coach, calling plays. Joe ain't coming here. He ain't coming here. Nasty Nate with a $5 super chat, then we'll get the phone calls here. He says, Nuss is predictable when you put one or two defenders in his face, 1,000%. He either holds the ball or he does the left side rollout, 1,000%. And everybody knows that. It's not going to change. It 1,000% is not going to change. All right. Let's do this. Let me get set up here for phone calls, and we'll start taking some. 225-435-9387. 225-435-9387 is the phone number for you to call in. You can call into the show and tell us what you think about the game. So let me get set up here. Hold on. I got to do it this way. I probably should have done this. I'm a little out of my element right now, so this is my fault. This is my fault. I'm out of my element. I'll be better next time, I promise you. This will be done. All right, hold on. Give me just a minute. This is very unprofessional, but I don't really have a choice at the current moment. All right. 225-435-9387. 225-435-9387 is where you can call in. We'll take in your phone calls here into the show. What did you think of the football game? 225-435-9387. All right, we should be good to go here. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
Hey, Blake, it's Dakota.
Hey, Dakota, what'd you think of the game?
Oh, gosh, it was awful, dude.
Very awful.
To be honest with you, Blake, I felt like this offense didn't really do much at all today. Like, I think this team, ever since the Texas A&M loss, it felt like we just don't even care anymore about the season.
It does feel that way, Dakota. It does feel like that we don't give a shit. You're correct.
And the thing about it is I know it sucks even more because we lost to Florida. I hate losing to Florida.
Well, Florida just busted your ass.
They did. I'll be honest with you, though, Blake. You got to give credit to them, man. They came into here. I think is it safe to say this is Billy Napier's best win so far
No,
this year?
Utah. He beat a Pac-12 Utah team in game 1.
No, I meant this year.
Oh,
1,000%.
1,000%.
He beat us.
They have 5 losses. All 5 losses coming to top 12 opponents. So 1,000%. I mean, 1,000% is their best win. And look, I mean, here's the truth about Florida that I try to warn people with all week. If you play around with them, Dakota, you watch the show. What did I say? That they were going to what? You say it.
They were going to what day did you say it on?
Thursday. I said they were going to bust your ass wide open. And they lined up and bust your ass wide open.
Yeah, dude. Sorry, I'm really dizzy, dude. I just had 2 shots today watching that. Dude,
you're good.
That was awful. No, but all seriousness though, look, let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you why we lost the game. And it all starts with Garrett. He did not play good at all today. Now he made some throws.
Hold on. When has he played good? Outside of Arkansas, when has he played good?
He didn't play good in the Texas A&M game. Well, he was all right in the first half. The second half of the A&M game, he played like trash. And then
the going got tough.
Right. And then the Bama game last week, like there's no spotlight he had last week. And then coming in today, I mean, all it looked like was a bunch of checkdowns, and we could say all we want about the deep throw that he had in the fourth quarter, but that was garbage time, man. Like this team had no fight. I mean, I thought Mason Taylor made some okay plays today, but
Mason was
the
fine.
defense had
Mason was fine. Aaron Anderson was fine. Aaron Anderson had 5 catches for 70 yards, if I'm not mistaken, in the first half, and they didn't come back to him but twice in the second half. I mean, Aaron Anderson had 7 catches, 72 yards. Like, we're worried about getting the ball to Kyron Lacey and Kyron throwing a temper tantrum on the sidelines like a fucking baby. But meanwhile, you're not getting it to your best weapon. I mean, you got to get it to your best weapon.
In my honest opinion, Blake, I feel like it's not even biased to say it. I feel like Anderson's been our best receiver this year.
Oh, he's been your best offensive player.
Exactly.
By far, and you're not getting the football. You got him 4 catches on the opening drive, and then you refuse to go back to him. So thank you so much for the call, Dakota. I appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you, Blake.
All right, 225-435-9387 is the phone number, 225-435-9387. 9387 is the phone number. You can call into the show. You're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS Postgame Show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
Hey, Blake, it's Jeff from Birmingham. I'm just going to go over a couple of things and just tell me if I'm off on any of these
All
things.
right, go ahead, buddy.
Tyree Adams, after he got put in for Miles Frazier, we were running right behind him getting 10 yards of carry.
Correct.
Miles Frazier comes back, and then Paul Mabang goes to left guard. How do we not see that Tyree Adams should switch to left guard and take over the game? Blake, we were running right behind him, and he was busting their ass. I don't understand that.
I don't know. To your point, I 100% agree. I tweeted it 3 times. They didn't put Tyree Adams in. In fairness, I'll say this about that specifically, okay?
Go ahead.
Okay. Brian Kelly did say we would have to be in a very big emergency for Tyree to come in. I do think that they were an emergency because they didn't have another guard and they had to put him in. Now,
Blake, in the second half, was it not an emergency when?
No,
every
he
time
means emergency. He
means
means emergency in reference to like we have to 1,000% play him. In fairness, I mean the kid's coming off a sports hernia. I mean,
right?
Like, look, I'm with you. I don't disagree. Okay, but if that, for me. I don't know if I can lay it down saying, okay, well, you should have put him in there. And I agree you probably should, but I'm also not on the sidelines to know, like, is the kid starting to hurt after a long game? I don't know. But the truth is, to your main point, you should have put anybody at right tackle and moved Emory Jones to left guard at minimum.
100%. The offensive line got dominated in the second half.
Correct. And you know what? You want to hear something crazy? Here's the statistic. Guess what they ran for in the second half? They ran for 4.79 yards per carry. So even when they ran the ball, it's not like they were completely inefficient.
Right. And it goes back to the Arkansas game where you were getting, the quick throws. I feel like some of the times Nussmeier is just taking too long back there on play action where we against Arkansas, we were running those 10 yards like flats and getting 10 yards every single time. Where has that gone? What is this long developing play where we're just trying to throw the ball, downfield? Don't get me started on Chris Hilton because he doesn't know how to time a jump. And every time we put him in the game, he's running a go route and we put him in motion. He doesn't know how to time a jump. And I ever since he's been back, Blake, it's just been I don't know why he's in the game because every time we put him out there, it's embarrassing, to be honest.
I don't disagree with that. What's your third point?
Couple more things. I think the red zone offense, I've been watching since 2006, Blake, and we were better with Danny Etling, Brandon Harris, Anthony Jennings, and anyone else you want to name with our red zone offense. We get to the red zone, and you said it earlier in the show, we piss down our legs every single time.
Every time.
We look great in the drive, and we get to the 15 or 20, and it's like Joe Sloan doesn't know what to do. But it's not all on just Joe Sloan. It's like the players have to execute as well.
Correct. I mean, and it's not even the execution part. It's the boneheaded decisions that they're making in the red zone. Like 2 weeks ago last week, you were down 14-6, okay? And you ran a reverse with Xavion Thomas, okay? And Will Campbell got a holding penalty. And then you had a loss of 2 on a run that knocked you out of field goal range. So even in that, it's not even like all on Sloan in the sense of that they're calling plays bad, which it is a lot on him too. But even when they get down there, your bona fide superstars are making mistakes.
Right. I know. Will Campbell and Emory Jones, and everyone wants to talk about their first-round picks. It's like they got to be the leaders of the offense. They can't be making those mistakes when we get down in the red zone.
100% agree. What was your last point here?
Last point is ever since that second half of Texas A&M, we've been dominated for 10 quarters straight, and it's honestly unacceptable for how talented this team is. I mean, I know defense, we don't have the personnel. And I would argue that the only dogs we have on defense are Zy Alexander and Braden Swinson. But we are better than losing 3 games in a row. We should have won the Texas A&M game. Bama, if we don't shit down our legs in the second half, who knows? And then losing to Florida is unacceptable. That just can't happen.
I agree. I mean, A&M still technically leads the SEC or tied with the SEC lead. So does Bama technically, but you're right. I mean, I to your point, I can accept losing to two teams that are in the SEC title race. What I can't accept is you losing to a 5-loss football team.
100%. One more thing, and I'll let you get to some other calls. Anyone who's saying Nuss isn't the best option does not know football. I know he has not been great for the past 3 games, but he gives you the best chance to win. And I know he turns the ball over, but he gives you the best chance to win. And anyone saying Ricky Collins or AJ Swan does not know football. Garrett Nussmeier gives you the best chance to win every Saturday. He will continue to be the starter for the rest of the year. And anyone thinks differently just does not know football.
I agree with that. Thank you for the phone call.
Okay. Thank you, Blake.
I don't know if you don't know football, but I don't want to say that. But what I'd say is he 1,000% is your best option. 225-435-9387 is the phone number. 225-435-9387. You're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
Blake, it's Stephen Young again.
What'd you think of the game, Stephen?
I'm not even mad.
Why not?
I'm not even mad. This team did not deserve to win this game. They just didn't.
I mean, I can't disagree.
Look, I'm going to give some positives and negatives, okay?
Okay.
The negatives, Brian Kelly is out of touch with his team. What did he tell us in his press conference? When Nuss prepared for this game like he did, you might want to watch the game because he's going to have a good one. Well, guess what? He didn't pay attention to his offensive line.
I agree.
I mean, he was watching Nuss. He obviously wasn't watching the offensive line. It's the offensive line's worst game of the season.
Oh, what?
It is.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna push back on that. I think it was Ole Miss. The reason I push back on it is Garrett's holding the ball too long, and that's why a lot of those sacks are happening too. For the sacks, hold on. For the sacks, he rolled outside the pocket and didn't get rid of the football.
Okay, I can go with that.
So even if it's 3, both of your running backs had 100 combined for 160 yards rushing. The problem that I have with that is the other sack is a long developed play action where you're trying to ask a running back to block a defensive end. That's scheme, okay? So that's not on the O-line. That's on a running back. Josh Williams. And then the first sack that he got, Josh Williams, if you remember, got blown up on pass protection and gave up a sack. So in fairness, some of those are on Nuss. You can't be running the ball the way that you are, and then your O-line's just getting dominated that much. Garrett's got to get rid of the football. That's the truth.
Well, that's true, but offensive play calling was ass.
It is ass.
It was ass.
It is ass. It's been ass.
And it did not help Garrett. So I'm not blaming Garrett 100%. I will blame him for some of it. But offensive play calling did not help Garrett like they were supposed to do, like he said they were going to do.
I'm going to push back on that too, Stephen, for one big thing. The third down where he took a sack, Aaron Anderson is clapping his hands, begging for the football at the marker. And then he rolls left and then gets sacked. I'm sorry. He's got to throw that football. You can't have
and Kyron Lacey was yelling at BK.
Right, because he's also wide open. He
was wide open.
He took sacks on both of those plays. With that being said, we cannot come in here and say play calling is ass when you have two guys that are wide open when you have sacks, okay? Now, and say that, well, because think about it this way, Stephen. If you're Joe Sloan, okay?
Yeah.
If you're Sloan, you'd say, hey, man, I designed something that's got a guy wide open and he's not throwing the football. Then you would say, well, he's not developing Garrett. Okay, well, he did something to develop 5 last year. I just don't think Garrett knows what he's seen. So
you're right, but let me give you some levity. Can I give you some levity here?
Sure.
Kim Mulkey and Jay Johnson are not pissing down their legs as coaches. Brian Kelly is.
I don't disagree.
I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean, you have enough of a sample size to see what's happening here. Brian Kelly's pissing down his leg. Now, I will say this. Here's the positive, okay? You've got Underwood coming in next year, who's going to start after this game for damn sure. And you have Harlem Berry, who is comped to Reggie Bush. I'm not sure how you can screw that up.
Yeah, you can screw it up by them not coming here. I appreciate the phone call, Stephen.
All right.
All right, 225-435-9387 is the phone number. You can call in. We'll take a couple more here. You're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS Postgame Show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
Hey, it's Anthony Holland.
Hey, what'd you think of the game?
I'm like the other guy. I'm not even mad.
Okay, why are you not mad?
I think every year Brian Kelly amps his teams up and makes the public think they're better than what they really are. And I also think that everybody's getting a taste of the real Nussmeier now in a full season of SEC, where I don't think Nussmeier can read defenses that well. I think he throws the ball to a spot, and no matter if it's 3 or 4 or 5 DBs around, he just throws it through a spot.
I 100% agree.
All of Nuss's bad habits are coming back.
I got to be real with you. I don't think they left.
I agree with that.
I don't think that they ever left, because here's what we see. Okay, what we see is him come in games and mop up duty, or somebody gets hurt or whatever, okay, and he throws 3 touchdowns because the team has not either prepared for him, or he's got 2 first-round wide receivers, okay? And the problem with that is, and what people don't do, okay, is they don't take the time to look at the simple fact that he also had 2 turnovers against Georgia. He had turnovers against Southern. He turns the ball over too much. Even if he's making wrong decisions, like even Jaden in 22, if you're making wrong decisions, the last thing that you can do is turn the ball over, and that's something that you can control.
Well, I think you made a great point right there, because I think if he was more in control without the turnovers, I think LSU might have pulled a couple of these tight victories out because of
100%. 100%.
I think right now we would probably be sitting with 2 losses. Alabama was definitely a loss, and maybe Texas A&M, but I think we've been with 2 losses.
You beat A&M.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Thank you for the phone call, Bob. All right, you got one more point? Go ahead. Go ahead. You got one more point?
Yeah, I think the offensive line is overrated.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is because I'm looking at all these D lines that we're going against now, and it's holes all through that offensive line.
Especially in the
holes everywhere.
And both of your tackles have played bad too.
Right.
All right. I appreciate the phone call, bud.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. This is the AYS Postgame Show. You're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. Your thoughts on the game?
Yes. This is Drew from Meridian. Listen, I don't know who sucks worse. Is it the coach? Is it our quarterback? Is it the offensive coordinator? I wish I could come on here and say, we lost because of this, but I can't, because it's all the above. When I say this, it's not. This ain't all on Nuss. However, how do we know that Nuss gives us our best shot unless you give someone a chance?
Because I'll defend this. I've seen Ricky in practices, okay, with my own eyes, okay, and I'm telling you, he's not better. I promise you.
Okay,
he's not. Now,
if you want to
have an argument about AJ Swan, who has done it in the SEC, go ahead and do it. But I don't think he has
somebody.
Well, I don't think Swan has a bigger upside than Nuss. I don't.
I agree. I totally agree.
So, again, bad play calling, O-line stinks in moments. That's not all on Nuss. But now the excuse cannot be, well, they can't run the football, because they did run the football today.
No question. Over almost 200 fucking yards.
They would have been right at it if Nuss didn't take the sacks, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and all these people that are calling, complaining for BK needs this and that, let me tell you something. I got news for you. If I'm not mistaken, I read where his buyout is over $60 million. His ass ain't going anywhere.
Yep, $61 million.
So, unless you win the lottery and want to contribute to his buyout, be my guest. But he's going to be at LSU to at least.
We don't want to contribute to $1 million to get playmakers in here. What makes you think that we're going to contribute $60 million?
Exactly. And that leads to my next point, Blake. If I have the opportunity to say one last thing, if I'm Scott Woodward, and I love Scott to death, he has been a godsend to LSU, and this is not meant to say bad towards Scott. However, if Scott Woodward, if he's not in Brian Kelly's office in the morning saying, we're going to get some portal kids, then we got some issues, Blake. We got to get some dudes.
Here's the thing, brother. 2 words. You ready? Jay Johnson.
Sir.
Jay Johnson. What does Jay do?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think I lost you for a second.
Jay Johnson. That's your answer. Because Jay's probably
going
to have a team.
Yes.
Jay's probably going to have a team Omaha ready and Omaha worthy, and he went and got 9 dudes from the portal.
Absolutely. What did Lane Kiffin do last year during the offseason?
They spent over $10 million to go get a roster.
You're damn right he did, and that's exactly what we're going to have to do. Thank you for taking my call.
No problem. All right, we'll take like 2 or 3 more here. 225-435-9387. Hit the like, hit the share to all those groups and stuff. We'll take a couple more. I still got to get ready for the John Jones fight. Got to eat something. I hadn't eaten since I had eggs for breakfast. I get so nervous, I feel like I'm going to throw it up. All right, a couple more here. 225-435-9387 is the phone number. You can call in to the show and tell us your thoughts on the game here. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame show. Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
Justin.
What'd you think of the game, bud?
Oh man, it's fucking horrible, Blake. It's disgusting. I'm with you. I can lose. I can lose to A&M. I can lose to Bama. This is fucking disgusting. And pardon.
No, I've said 47 fuck words. You can say one.
But here's my question. Everybody said, and I may be crazy. You can tell me if I'm crazy. If we finish 6-6, which is not out of the realm of possibility, are we still saying it's impossible to fire Brian Kelly? Because if you're holding on to him for Bryce Underwood, what's stopping Bryce from transferring after fucking next year if we go 8-4 again?
I don't.
Right. So
I don't know.
If you're keeping Brian Kelly to get Bryce here, it doesn't mean you get him for 3 years anyway.
I mean, look, I don't. Here's the truth about BK that I fully believe. Okay, you know what BK can do as a head coach if he's not lazy and doesn't promote guys from within. He's got to have coordinators and he's got to have dudes. And you don't have either one of them right now. I think Blake is really good, but Blake doesn't have dudes. I mean, he's starting 3 true freshmen to start the game off, okay? A DN, a linebacker, or star, and he's starting a corner in P.J. Woodland, okay? He's got to put a redshirt freshman at safety because Sage Ryan and the upperclassmen just, I guess, decided to, give the fuck up. Okay, so I think that sometimes when you are making a lot of money, you can become comfortable, and that's a dangerous place to be in.
I got one last question for you, and then I'll let you get off with me. So everybody's saying Nuss is your best option, and you see the guys in practice. I don't. Nuss is your best option. Nuss is your best option. Nuss has turned the ball over 8 fucking times in 10 quarters. So,
well, no, technically he's turned it over 9 times.
Okay, 9 times in 10 quarters.
Yep.
So I don't give a damn if Ricky Collins can't throw it 70 yards in the air. I don't care if Colin Hurley don't throw for 350. If you take away half of those turnovers, there's probably 2 wins.
I don't know about 2 wins, but you certainly win today.
You win today, and if you take away those 3 turnovers in the second half of the A&M game, you probably win that game.
You would be right in line to do it. I agree.
Yeah,
I mean,
all
I
right, man. I
can't
appreciate you.
get no problem. All right. A couple more here, then we're going to get out of here. 225-435-9387. 225-435-9387 is the phone number to call in to the show. We'll take a couple more before we get out of here. Tennessee's up 10-0 on Georgia right now. Boy, oh boy. And they just batted down a pass. How about that? 225-435-9387. We'll get a couple more and then get out of here. Couple more, then we'll get out of here. Let's look at this final line. I see a lot of people are sharing this Whit Weeks thing. What did Whit Weeks say in the postgame that everybody's so pissed off about? I don't know. But people are pissed about something. You know what's interesting? LSU was 13 of 24 on third down. 13 of 24 on third down. That's insane. That is brutally insane. Well, all right, we're going to go ahead and call the phone calls here if you're not going to call in. I don't know, man. To wrap this up in a bow, I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know what we do. It sucks, man. It brutally, brutally sucks. But guess you got to try to find a way to regroup and see what you can do. But until you do, man, it's going to continue to be bad. So we'll see y'all on Monday. Y'all have a good night. Go watch the John Jones fight. Hopefully you don't have Mike Tyson's ass out tonight. We'll see y'all soon. You have a good one. Peace.